Now there were 6 days left until the Passover, and Jesus went back to Bethany, which was the town where Lazarus was from, the one that Jesus had raised from the dead. And they prepared a large banquet for Jesus there. Martha was doing the serving, and Lazarus himself was reclining at the table with Jesus. And Mary came in, and she had with her a jar which contained a pound of very expensive perfume, which was made from pure nard. Now she broke the perfume, and she anointed Jesus' feet with it, and she was wiping his feet with her hair. And the fragrance of the perfume expanded throughout the entire house. Well, one of Jesus' disciples, whose name was Judas Iscariot, now Judas was the one who had already in mind at this time to betray Jesus. He said, "Why this waste? This perfume could have been sold for 300 denarii, and the money could have been given to the poor." Well, now Judas said this not because he loved the poor, but because he was a thief. And also because Judas had been put in charge of the money, and so he was accustomed to simply just helping himself from what was in there in the treasury. Well, Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She can use this perfume on the day of my burial, and besides, you will always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me." So there were multitudes of people coming in for the Passover, and when they found out that Jesus was there, they came. They showed up. They wanted to see him, and not only Jesus, but they also wanted to see Lazarus, because Lazarus had been raised from the dead, and people were coming to hear from him. Well, the priests and the Pharisees, they drew up plans in order that they might kill Lazarus, because on account of Lazarus, people were leaving them and going to follow Jesus. At this point, they found out that Jesus was going to Jerusalem, and so they went out and then gathered up palm branches and palm tree leaves, and they went out to meet Jesus on the road, and they were saying, "Hosanna in the highest! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, and even the King of Israel." Well, Jesus himself found a young donkey and sat upon it, and so that prophecy, that ancient prophecy came true, which says, "Fear not, O daughter of Zion, your king is coming to you. He is mounted on a donkey's colt." The disciples were seeing all of this. They did not understand what was going on. In fact, later they understood. After Jesus had been glorified, they understood what had been going on. Now the people there who had been at Lazarus' funeral and seen him raised were sharing this with the others, and the word was spreading on account of Jesus, spreading like crazy. In fact, most of the people had come in order to see Jesus for this very reason. Now, the priests and the Pharisees saw this spectacle in front of them, and they said to one another, they said, "You are accomplishing nothing. It won't be long before the whole world is following this man." Well, Jesus had come into the city, and among the people, the many people coming in, there were a group of Greeks. Now the Greeks came to the festival in order to worship alongside of the Jews. And they came bearing this request. They came to Philip, and they said, "We want to see Jesus." Now Philip went, and he found Andrew, and he told him this request. Now Philip and Andrew went together in order to inform Jesus that this request had been made. And this is what Jesus said: "The hour has arrived for the Son of Man to be glorified. Truly, truly, I say unto you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it will remain by itself alone. But if it dies, it will be risen up and bear much fruit. Jesus said, if anyone wants to follow me, he should come along inside of me, so that where I am, there he will be also. And if anyone desires to serve me, then the Father will honor him. And then Jesus said, oh, my heart is deeply troubled. But what shall my prayer be? Father, save me from this hour? No. It is for this hour that I came. Father, let your word go forth. Then a voice echoed to Jesus from heaven, and it said, I have elevated my word, and I will do so again. Now people heard the voice. Some of them said it was thunder. Other people were saying that an angel had come down to speak with Jesus. And Jesus spoke to everyone, and he said, this voice was not for me, it was for all of you. The time is here, it is coming, when the prince of this world will be cast out. And if I, the Son of Man, be lifted up, then I will draw all people unto myself. Now Jesus said this in order to indicate the kind of death that he was going to die. Now people were saying to Jesus, we understood from the law that when the Son of Man comes, he will endure forever. So how is it that you are now saying the Son of Man must be lifted up? And Jesus said, I have come into the world that you might have light. So, while you are in the world, move forward as you have the light, because a time will come when the light will be gone. Do not let darkness overtake you. Go forward while you have the light. Jesus said, if you are in the light, you will be children of light. And then Jesus went away and he hid himself. Now the people there, even though they had seen miracle after miracle after miracle, and yet they did not believe in him. And so this fulfilled a prophecy which was written about in the book of Isaiah, which says, who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been reported? So that is the reason why people were not believing Jesus' message. However, another thing that Isaiah said was, I will make blind the seeing, and I will darken the understanding of their hearts, in order that they might not see, in order that they might not believe and understand, so that I would turn and heal them. This was the word of Isaiah, which had come true. Now, I'm sorry, there were actually people who were believing in Jesus. Even from among the rulers, there were people who were believing in Jesus. But those who were from among the rulers were, they were afraid. They were afraid of the Pharisees because, for one thing, they were afraid that they would be kicked out of the synagogue. And Jesus, they desired the applause of men. They did not desire the applause of God. And so that's why they did not speak up. That's why they did not admit that they were believing in Jesus. Now, Jesus got up again, and he stood up and he yelled out. He said, if anyone believes in me, he does not believe only in me, but the one who sent me. And if anyone has seen me, he sees the one who sent me. When someone does not believe in me or accept me, I don't judge him. In fact, I did not come into the world to judge, but I came into the world to save. However, if someone hears my words and does not believe them, they have a problem. They have someone who judges them. My words themselves. For I know that the words I speak are everlasting life, and so I speak them. In fact, I'm not making any of this up. I'm not speaking of my own initiative. I'm simply speaking the commands that my Father has given me to command.